I did not have this one on my bingo card, but can Dylan Cease be a potential trade target for the Seattle Mariners, a team that is already stacked in starting pitching? Let's take a look. Now, keep in mind that this hot take is coming from the face of truthful reporting in baseball this offseason, as Jon Morosi is the one that is throwing out this idea of the Mariners trading for Dylan Cease. If you think back to the Ohtani sweepstakes back in early December, it was Jon Morosi that was reporting that he was tracking Shohei Ohtani's private jet flying to Toronto, getting ready to sign a contract with the Blue Jays. Turns out that it was just Shark Tank's Robert Herjavec on that private jet. And also keep in mind that right now, the time between New Year's and spring training, there's going to be a lot of rumors, there's going to be a lot of moves that happen this offseason, and reporters are really just throwing wet noodles at a wall, seeing what will stick and what they'll actually be right on. But that being said, this article we're looking at is coming from Sports Illustrated, and the quote from Morosi is, "The Baltimore Orioles are a top suitor for Dylan Cease. One team, though, I'm watching carefully, the Mariners." This article breaks down why the Mariners might make a trade for Dylan Cease. First off, it states that the Mariners are in fact one of the teams with a starting pitching surplus. They have Luis Castillo, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Brian Wu, and Bryce Miller all under contract long term, with 4 of those arms all on rookie deals. They also have Robbie Ray, who's slated to come back from Tommy John surgery mid-season. And they also have prospect Emerson Hancock. Observation number 2 is that teams are definitely calling the M's about the pitching surplus, with Miller, Wu, and Gilbert drawing trade interest. Of course, there's interest for Kirby, but the Mariners would hang up the phone immediately on Kirby. Observation 3 is that Seattle does need bats in the worst way, and this is absolutely true. It states already underwhelming offensively. The team has lost Eugenio Suarez, Jared Kelenic, and Teoscar Hernandez this offseason. They've only signed Mitch Garver as a replacement. And observation number 4, it says, in a perfect world, the Mariners wouldn't be so cash strapped, but they apparently are, which is some BS. I mean, as of right now, it shows their payroll at around $113 million for next year. Their payroll last year was about $140, which they said they would be going over. So realistically, they have somewhere around $15 to $30 million, give or take. In a perfect world, the M's could just go out and sign slugger Jorge Soler, and they wouldn't have to move any arms. Or they could go out and sign NL Cy Young winner Blank Snell, and then trade one of the arms. This article then states, but apparently they want to do everything this offseason on a budget, so Morosi's idea does make sense. They could acquire Cease, who has 2 more years of arbitration left, making him affordable, and then they could flip one of their current pitchers for a team-controlled affordable bat or 2. It does make sense financially, but you'd be losing out on a young pitcher and the prospect capital used to acquire Cease, which makes it not desirable from my vantage point. And as the article stated, Dylan Cease currently has 2 more years of arbitration. His arbitration estimate this year is $8 million. So when looking at the cost difference between a Brian Wu or Bryce Miller and a Dylan Cease, Bryce Miller and Brian Wu are on a league minimum salary, about $750K. So by trading for Cease, it would add about $7.5 million of payroll just in that move alone. If you know anything about Dylan Cease, you know that he's absolutely filthy. He has a 4-seam fastball, a slider, a curveball, and a changeup. He throws that 4-seam fastball 43% of the time, the slider 38% of the time, curveball 15% of the time, and the changeup just 3% of the time. And again, looking at his arsenal, his fastball sits between 93 and 100. His average fastball is 96. He's got a great slider at 86 miles an hour, a dirty 12.6 curveball at 80 miles an hour, and then his changeup comes in at 75 miles an hour, almost 25 miles an hour different from his fastball. That changeup is like an eephus that's insanely hard to hit. And as you can see from his baseball savant numbers, his off-speed run value is in the 70th percentile. His fastball velo is pretty up there. He has a high whiff percentage, a high strikeout percentage. He does walk guys. He has a strikeouts per 9 of about 11, and then he has a walks per 9 of about 4. He misses barrels with that good barrel percentage, and he is coming off of a down year in 2023 in which he had a 4.58 ERA over 33 games, 177 innings pitched. He had a 1.42 whip last year. You put Dylan Cease in that Mariners pitching lab, that Mariners rotation, you've got 4 legit chances at a Cy Young. All of the rumors this offseason for the Mariners have linked them to trading a young starting pitcher for young controllable bats. There was the rumors of them trading for Randy Arozarena and Isaac Paredes. Josh Naylor is a name, Max Kepler, Jorge Polanco, a lot of different names being thrown out. Again, as that article mentioned, it would cost quite a bit of prospect capital to get a Dylan Cease type arm, but it does make sense because if the Mariners are really trying to be as cheap as it seems they are, then rather in the prior scenario to where they trade for Randy Arozarena and Isaac Paredes and then they sign Blake Snell is going to cost $25 to $30 million a year for probably 5+ years. So Dylan Cease would give you that buffer over these next 2 years to where he's relatively cheap, especially for the type of ceiling that he has. And you never know, if you trade for a Dylan Cease, you might be able to talk him into an extension like they did with Luis Castillo. Always got to be something this offseason to keep Mariners fans on their toes. So make sure to like and subscribe to the Couch GM. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Is this a realistic trade scenario? And if so, which prospects would you be willing to trade for 2 years of Dylan Cease? Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.